Last week, Chinese hackers penetrated a high-level security agency responsible for maintaining and designing America's nuclear weapons. It's not clear yet if they gained access to any classified information.
A new investigation reveals China may have breached sensitive United States military systems more than a decade ago. National security correspondent Caitlin Burke has the details.
China's potential into DoD systems didn't come in the form of a cyber attack or a rogue agent inside the government. The source appears to be Microsoft employees based in China, operating under oversight of undertrained U.S.-based supervisors.
These Microsoft engineers based in mainland China were feeding code to what were called digital escorts. So these were DoD employees with security clearances that were able to take the code that was produced by Microsoft engineers and then put it directly into DoD systems.
While these Microsoft employees are not known Chinese agents, according to a ProPublica investigation, many of the digital escorts tasked with patching their work into DoD systems report being ill-equipped to understand the code they receive. Jack Burnham, a research analyst with the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, sees this arrangement creating two main security concerns.
So there's both a concern about vulnerabilities in terms of Chinese engineers employed by Microsoft having an extensive knowledge of the cloud computing system, so being able to target certain aspects, as well as potentially introducing vulnerabilities that these digital escorts may not have known existed because they didn't have the technical expertise in order to spot them.
Both Microsoft and the Pentagon were reportedly notified over the last decade regarding potential security concerns given the location of the Microsoft engineers. But when ProPublica spoke with former and current Pentagon officials, many had little to no knowledge of the program or how it operated. The spokesperson for the Defense Information Systems Agency saying, quote, "Literally no one seems to know anything about this, so I don't know where to go from here." Microsoft, meanwhile, issuing a statement saying its personnel and contractors operate in a manner, quote, "consistent with U.S. government requirements and processes." No matter what circumstances led to this system flying under the radar for so long, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says it ends now.
And I want to thank all those Americans out there in the media and elsewhere who raised this issue to our attention so we could address it.
Effective immediately, Hegseth says China will no longer have any involvement in DoD cloud services, and he's ordered a 2-week review of all other Pentagon systems.
This is obviously unacceptable, especially in today's digital threat environment. Now, this was a legacy system created over a decade ago during the Obama administration. But we have to ensure the digital systems that we use here at the Defense Department are ironclad and impenetrable.
National security experts say it's time for a cybersecurity mindset shift across the federal government and for a major investment in a trusted workforce here at home capable of ensuring more critical systems aren't left vulnerable. Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Washington.
Well, frankly, there needs to be a total ban on either China or any of the enemies of the United States. China's been stealing U.S. tech for decades, and it's not a new story. What is a new story is that somehow or other our Department of Defense was using Chinese engineers in order to update the code for our most sensitive data, which is how our nuclear weapons are designed. Can you imagine a warfare scenario where the unthinkable is happening and nuclear weapons are being exchanged, and suddenly because of a ability to hack them, our weapons aren't usable? Well, it's just literally mind-boggling that we would use engineers in China for that task. And you say, well, they're Microsoft employees. Well, if you're a citizen of China, there's a lot of pressure that the Chinese government can and will put on you to bend to their will. And if you're in that sensitive position, they know it already. So is it any surprise that Chinese engineers would be working for their own government in order to extract secrets from our Department of Defense? What is just amazing to me is Microsoft would let that happen, and the Department of Defense would let that happen, and it would sneak in. Again, it's been going on for decades. China stealing IT from the U.S. and using it for their own systems. And is it any surprise that they would do it with our Defense Department?